All right, lesson 7.1, ratios, right? You guys have all dealt with ratios before. I know you have. What is a ratio? What is a ratio? No, what's a ratio? You guys should know this. What is a ratio? You've heard of it. It's a math term. Don't just look at it. Tell me what it is. Don't read it. I don't want you to look here, like, what is a ratio? A ratio is when you compare two numbers. It's comparing numbers. That's all. The most common way to write a ratio is to write it in the form of a fraction, right? You write it in the form of a fraction. It can be written in one of several ways, but the fraction is the most common way. Here's the deal. A ratio would be like this. If I said, what is the ratio of girls to boys in this room? Girls to boys. Well, you look around the room and you go, okay, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 girls. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boys. 8 boys. There's 4 girls to 8 boys. You would write it as 4 over 8. Now, here's the deal. This is a ratio. It is not a fraction. You still write it in the form like you write it as though it was a fraction, but it is not a fraction. Because if you were to reduce this like a fraction, is there 1/2 girls in this room? Are half the girls in this room? No. Are half the people in this room girls? Are half the people in this room girls? How many girls are there?
4.
How many boys are there? 8. So isn't that 4? Or isn't that 4 out of 12? Isn't there 12 people in the room?
Yes.
Is half this room girls?
No.
People, I need you to listen to this very carefully, and I really want you to think and use common sense. There are 4 girls in the room, and there are 8 boys in the room. Are half the people in this room girls? No. Right? The ratio is 4 to 8. Another way of writing that would be 4 to 8, or even 4:8. That's the 3 ways of writing a ratio. You can reduce a ratio, but just know that it's not a fraction. It is not a fraction. This simply compares the number of girls to boys. Okay? This can be reduced to 1 to 2. Totally fine. But it does not mean that half of the people in the room are girls. Okay? Here's the deal. How would I write down the ratio of the number of girls compared to the total number of people in the room? Number of girls. That would be 4 girls to a total of how many people are in the room? 12 people. Now we can see what's the ratio. You can now look and see, okay, there's about 1/3, 1 girl for every 3 people. There's 1/3 of the room is girls, right? That should make sense. 4 to 8, which is 4 out of 12, right? It all depends. So if I was to say, write a ratio about the girls in this room. So listen, please. If I was to ask you to write a ratio about the girls in this room compared to, if I just said write a ratio about the girls in this room, it would be tough. You'd be like, well, compared to what? Because would it matter if I said compare it to the boys? Is that different than comparing it to the number of people in the room? Right. It's different. Comparing it to the boys would be 4 to 8. Comparing it to the people in the room, it would be 4 to 12. It's totally different. You need to know what we're talking about. What if I was to say, what is the ratio of boys to girls?
8 to 7.
Anyway, when you're writing a ratio, it's not a fraction. You don't change it from a mixed number. You don't change it to a mixed number. You don't change it as an improper fraction. It stays, right? It stays. If I was to ask how many people in this room are wearing, oh yeah, okay. Well, we'll do this. We'll do the number of people in the room wearing jeans. Raise your hand if you're wearing jeans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 to 6, right? 6 people wearing jeans to 6 people not wearing jeans. If you were to reduce this to like, if this was really a fraction, then you write it as 1. Does that even make sense? Does 1 even make sense? If I said, what's the ratio of people wearing jeans to not wearing jeans? And you go, oh, it's 1. You'd be like, what? That doesn't make any sense, right? So ratios, although they are written most of the time like a fraction, they are not a fraction. You don't reduce them like a fraction. You don't treat them like a fraction. They're a ratio, okay? Let's look here. Let's look at the examples here. Look at the bottom of page 306. Look at the bottom of page 306. It says, use the recipe above. Write each ratio in 3 ways. Did you remember the 3 ways to write it? Okay. Pretzels to cereal. You see the deal up there? I want you to do it. Go ahead and do 1A and B, please. Do 1A and B. Look here. Here it is. It says pretzels to cereal. Well, okay. What is the ratio? What is the how much pretzels do you put in this thing? How much pretzels do you put in the party mix? 2 cups. How much cereal do you put in the party mix? How much cereal? 4 cups. Right? Do you see it? Does everybody see up there in the picture? 2 cups of pretzels, and you put 4 cups of cereal. Yes, do y'all see it? Okay, so then the ratio is, they're talking about pretzels to cereal. So pretzels is 2 to 4, or 2 to 4, or 2 to 4. Did you all write them 3 ways like they asked? 3 ways. The next one says pretzels to party mix. Well, what's the party mix? The party mix is everything, including the Worcestershire sauce, right? But, see, that's kind of a silly question, a little bit, because tablespoons is not cups, right? So I guess they're assuming that the Worcestershire sauce is just going to kind of mix in with the pretzels. You know what I'm talking about? That it won't add any volume. So anyway, it would be pretzels to party mix. So 2 cups of pretzels makes how much? How much party mix? They're asking pretzels to party mix. 6. How many of you got those?
But how would it be 2 to 6?
Because how much is the total party mix?
Oh, teaspoons.
Right? Total party mix. Did anybody put 9? 2 to 9? Yeah, see, that's tablespoons, right?
No.
And notice up there, what's the party mix say? How many cups does it say it makes? 6. Right? It makes 6 cups. Try, oh, what about this? What about this? Can you write for me another ratio that is equal to that? An equivalent ratio? What does that mean, an equivalent ratio? That reduces to the same, right? So what would be something that would be, give me an example. What would be an equivalent ratio to 4 to 6? 2 to 3 would be 1. What else? What else? What else, Jared? 8 to 12. What else? What else? 12 to 18. Something else too. Whenever you have a number like 4 to 6, guess what you can do and make it's kind of a cheat, but guess what you can do? Add zeros. 40 to 60, 400 to 600, 4,000 to 6,000. See what I'm talking about? Anyway, if it was an equivalent ratio, it would definitely everything would reduce to 2 to 3, right? So in that sense, they act like fractions, right? Equivalent ratios will reduce to the same ratio. Okay, so you guys do 10 to 35. I want you to give me at least 2. Give me 2 equivalent ratios to 10 to 35. What do you got? Michael, what do you got? 1 to 7. 1 to 7? 20 to 7? 70. Nice, yes. 20 to 70, that's 1. What else? 2 to 7. What else? Morgan, what else? Those are the 2 you have? What do you got, Jonathan? 5 to 7? No. What do you got, Gina? Cheater, but I like it. 100 to 350. What else? What do you got? Cheater, but you got it. That's good. Okay. What about this? Can you write this? It's a ratio. Can you reduce that? Can you reduce it? Are you allowed to reduce ratios? Yes, right? You're allowed to reduce them. Are you allowed to turn them from improper fractions into mixed numbers? No, that doesn't make any sense, right? That would not make any sense. But you can reduce them to make them more manageable. So 8 to 12 can be reduced to 2 to 3, right? Same ratio, right? It would be no different than us doing this right here. If I was to say, okay, the number of boys to girls in this room was 8 to 4. That's kind of a big number. So you go, oh, isn't that the same as 2 to 1? So for every 2 boys, there's 1 girl, right? I reduced it, but I didn't turn it into an improper fraction. I didn't turn it from an improper fraction to a mixed number. Still should make some sense, right? Try one. Try the bottom of page 307, do number 3. The bottom of page 307, do number 3. Okay, so what do you got here? It says you use 3 cups of popcorn kernels to make 24 quarts of popcorn. Write the ratio of the amount of kernels to the amount of popcorn in simplest form. What's the ratio? Well, it is 3 cups makes what? 24 quarts of popcorn. Agreed? So then, can we reduce that?
No.
Yeah, you can. You can reduce it. Divide both the top and the bottom by 3. It comes out to 1 cup makes 8 quarts. So it's 1 to 8. Does that make sense? It's 1 to 8. You guys probably overthought that and turned them all into like cups and stuff, right? Yeah. Question?
So can I do like that?
You can go 1 to 8 or 1 to 8 or 1 to 8. That's it.
To write the things, can I go like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? I think you guys have this. It's not super difficult. Your assignment is page 308. 1 through 28 even, and 34 through 40 even.